Hello, welcome to Creative Practice with Greg Zabel. Today we're answering the question, which jazz chord voicings should you learn first? I like to teach two-note voicings. I think it's a good idea to play the root and one other note. The other note besides the root depends on the type of chord and the melody note. Let's take the first 8 measures of Autumn Leaves in G minor. So the first chord will be C minor 7. I'm going to grab the note C with my pinky and the 7th, the flat 7th of a C minor 7 chord. When I don't want to think about the theory too much, I want to go by hand position and the feel of the keyboard. So if I see C minor 7, I'm going to go for the octave, but then I'm going to pull my thumb back one whole step, Go for the octave, C's and C's. That's a half step, that's a whole step away from the octave. So, the way that the hand fits the keyboard was designed to fit the shape of the human hand. So, you want to find it very comfortable to play one finger per white note for fingers 5 through 2 on the left hand. And the thumb, you can open up the space between fingers 2 and 1. The thumb ought to be able to reach that higher black note, this B flat, this minor 7th, okay? So, all you need are 2 notes at a time, never more than that for now, for this basic voicing. So, C minor 7, and as it happens, the melody note in the right hand is going to complete the 3-note chord. It's going to give us that flat third, the sad minor sound. So, between those 3 notes, I have C minor 7. All right. The next note in the next chord in the song is F7. The reason why it's very important to keep these 4 fingers as neighbors is because when you're learning jazz songs, a lot of the chord progressions follow the cycle of fourths. So if you have your hand laid out like this, 4 notes away will be the next chord in the progression. So C resolves to F. My second finger is already on that resolution, and I'm going to play the 3rd of the chord. This is a dominant 7 sound. I'm going to play the 3rd. The 3rd is in the neighborhood where I was just coming from. All I have to do is slide my first finger off of the B flat onto A, and I've got those 2 notes. Once again, the right hand melody note completes the chord, gives me the full sound of an F dominant 7th. So that's a major, you got the root, the major 3rd, the flat 7th. And I love this song because it lends itself to this question and answer, this call and response type of playing. The left hand's going to fill in the gaps of the melody. So, what happens next? I'm going to keep this F7 shape. The melody goes like this. All right, the next chord is B flat major 7. F resolves to B flat. So I'm going to feel my hand. I'm going to keep my thumb where it is because that's the major 7 of B flat, and I'm just going to reach for the next B flat. Remember that you want the root to be the lowest note of the voicing. So B flat, I keep my thumb note, and the melody note, the right hand note is D. That is the major 3rd of B flat. So we have B flat, major 7. All right. When you see a major 7 voicing, go for the octave, but pull the thumb back 1/2 step this time. That's that major 7th. All right. The next chord is E flat major 7. Remember to keep these 4 fingers as neighbors. If you keep, it's the same distance you had before. C to F, that's a 4th. Now we're going B flat to E flat around the cycle of fourths. B flat resolved to E flat. So this distance, 5 to 2, is the same. What did I have to do before when I did my contraction here? I was expanded from C to B flat. Second finger was on the note I'm resolving to. My hand contracted, my thumb came down. What happens here? I expand. Second finger's on the resolution. My thumb comes in, I contract. So this whole progression, you're going to feel this feeling of expansion and contraction. All right, so we have this. All right, the next chord is A minor 7 flat 5. Now that sounds complicated, almost looks like a math equation or something, but it's not so hard. For us right now, we're only playing 2 notes. We're going to play we're going to treat it as if it's a minor 7 chord like we did earlier. So C minor 7, what did we do? We went for the octave, but we pulled our thumb back a whole step. So in this case, we've got A and G. Remember that the root is the lowest note of the voicing, the note under the pinky right now. You want these 4 fingers to be neighbors, because this is the note that you're going to play on the next chord, your next root. So then the melody goes like... Resolved, it's a D7 chord, and it might, on your page, it might look complicated. It might say D7 flat 9 or D7 sharp 9, but either way, it's D7. So we have the 7th here, and we have the root and the major 3rd in the left hand. That satisfies, those 3 notes satisfy the sound of a D7 chord. And then, hopefully, you have a G minor 6. So, remember the feeling of expansion and contraction. Here I am, I've got the contracted shape, fingers 2 and 1. And then I'm going to expand, I'm going to reach for the G. There's my root. And then my thumb is going to pull down, that is the 6th note of the G scale. So this is going to satisfy the G minor 6 when it's combined with that right hand melody note. That's the sound G minor 6. All right, so all together, those first 8 bars sound like this. Every once in a while, you have to reset. Remember that G resolves to C. So when I get here, I'm going to the very next chord on bar 9. Is C minor 7 again, so I'm just going to replace my hand where it came from. I'm not going to... I could resolve to C minor that way, but this voicing is better because of the melody note. If you keep the melody in mind, you're always going to... That's the best way to inform your left-hand voicings. Just having fun playing with the rhythm there, but making sure that each chord lasts a full measure. All right, hopefully that gives you some ideas about expansion and contraction. You can use this on any jazz tune that features cycle of 4th motion in the progression. So make sure that you know the cycle of 4ths. Thank you very much for watching, and have fun being creative.